everyone. Thank you everyone for joining this session. I hope you all are having a great working week. Thank you for showing up for this session. So I'll just give a short introduction about myself. I will then go ahead and introduce both the companies, and then finally I will introduce the speaker and the panelists. So my name is Vivek Kadam. I am a part of I2E Consulting. Been with this company for more than 5 years now, and I started off my career in customer support, and slowly I moved to sales. And it's been almost 8 years now that I'm into the sales business. I'm also doing account management at I2E, and I've also done some project management. So our company, I2E Consulting, is a software services providing company founded in the year 2008. I2E provides business consulting and technology solutions to large pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, Merck, Novartis, ACG, etc. We are a Microsoft Gold partner, and our services, they majorly revolve around Office 365, project and portfolio management, data science, and digital transformation. We are also an AWS and Automation Anywhere partner. This event is co-hosted by our partner, Conval Group. Conval Group was incorporated in the year 2000 as a company with a mission of serving as consultants and technology enablers for life sciences industry. For the increasing need of compliance and quality in various business units of pharma industry, Conval Group provides services around production, quality control, quality assurance, information technology, and R&D. Well, on the panel we have with us today our speaker, Mr. Chinmoy Roy. Chinmoy is a life sciences professional. He is a subject matter expert in CSV and data integrity. His skill set crosses over in multiple areas, right from engineering to manufacturing IT to laboratory systems, validation, and quality processes. He has over 40 years of field experience, and while employed at Genentech, he led and directed a team of 50 plus people in design, installation, and obtaining fit for use certification for the world's largest paperless biopharmaceutical manufacturing facility. Oh. In his current consulting role, he conducts data integrity audits with some of where he teams up with former FDA auditors. He has assisted companies in establishing data integrity programs, training employees in data integrity best practices, and in the year 2019, his lucid presentation style was awarded the best speaker of the year by IVT USA. We have Timur Kabadai, who may join later. He's he's the managing director at Conval Group with around 30 years of experience in pharma domain. And his strong areas are computerized system validations, change control, document management, and GMP. We also have with us Mr. Arjun Guha, Director of Operations at Conval Group, with more than 25 years of experience in the life sciences industry. He's a SAP PP 7.0 certified professional, experienced in quality assurance, strategic operations management, project quality management, serialization, and track and trace. We also have Banu Rafiq, who joined soon. She is a senior consultant quality at Conval Group. She also has more than 20 years of experience in the pharma industry, working as a validation manager, project quality manager, and senior validation consultant. So as you all know, today's topic, this is a program for effective data integrity, a structured approach. Without any delay, I hope everyone is able to see Chinmoy's screen. I request Chinmoy to please start the session.
Also, just I would like to add Banu into the panelist.
Yeah, I'll do that.
She's just joined the session. Thank you.
Okay. Am I on?
Yes. You're all set.
Okay, great. Let me show this. Okay. Good morning to all of you, and I appreciate your coming today. And over the course of the next hour and a half, I will try my best to see if, that you will pick up something and take something back to your place of work, because that, I believe, is the goal of this training as well as your attendance. And I thank the sponsors, I2E and Conval, and I'm very glad to be here. Incidentally, this presentation I'm going to make is the same presentation I made last week at a very well attended webinar by Kenex. And Kenex is US based and US and Ireland only. So I thought, why not share those? And as always, this is not going to be elementary. This is going to be intermediate to advanced level. So if you are coming here to learn what is data integrity, of course, I'll touch on it to provide some background, but this is not the webinar then. But I would encourage you to stay on, because I'm sure you can make your notes and take the questions you have to the seniors in your company who will explain it to you. Okay, so, and this is geared also towards executives, because that is the role they have for data integrity. So without much, and also all my sessions is not designed for me to keep talking, because I can talk in different areas of this, but my goal is to see what your intention is to attend. So I have kept almost half an hour of my presentation for your Q&A. Please speak up. Please speak up when there is a Q&A. No question is foolish that would require you to keep quiet. You will be surprised. Even myself or anybody out there would not know the answer to that question. So please speak up. Please ask your questions. Don't ever think that everybody knows the answer. And that's why data integrity issues occur, because you're not seeking clarification. So this is a good exercise for you to start right from here. Now I have a time limit of 1 hour, and I may be rushing through a few things on the assumption that you have some background in data integrity. Okay, and as always, after the training, you can contact I2E, Conval. I'm available through them, and we can help you out further. So let's move. What's going on? Page up, I think. Page down. I don't know why my screen is frozen. Is there a reason the screen? Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. So these are the 4 things I'll try to cover. It's about 15 minutes each. And the first one is a little bit, lays the background. It's a compendium. And what is data integrity and why is it important? Then why the DI issues occur. We're not going to talk about Alcoa. You all are supposed to know this. What is the 5P model? And this is where I want all of you to take a good look at, because this is, and typically, management also needs to look at this model. But shortage of time, and when I have a 2-day training program, I talk a lot about the 5P model. And then what is the recipe for DI program success? To develop, to establish a program, there are certain basic ingredients need to be in place for the success of the program. And we will talk about what the ingredients are, what the steps of the programs are. So let's move in. And so what is data integrity, right? And it's the assurance. Everybody works on data. If you get up in the morning and when you're looking at your bank account and you can't trust that data, you may be having more money or less money, then you have a problem, right? Your checks might bounce, or you might suddenly say, geez, I have so much money. I had to buy milk for the family and I was telling them, hey, drink less, right? Same way, when you have data to send to the regulators, you have to give them that assurance that that data is something they can trust. That is data integrity, okay? who created the data, who changed the data. So these are all the things. So how do you give them that assurance is by following the principles that you have to show them. You have measures and practices within the company to ensure that. And one way you do that is to prove to them that this data has been under your continuous command and control, access control, audit trail review. These are the things, are tools that are effective in your demonstration to the regulators that you have this data under your continuous command and control. That's how you prove to them. Of course, Alcoa is an instrument that demonstrates that. So this is the principle you have to show them, right? That's why they come and audit you. They want to make an assessment for themselves, how much you are in control of your operations. Do your people know what the regulations are? They look at the training record, okay? Then, how often do you train them? Common question, an auditor says, what do you do here? Who tells you what to do? Never tell the auditor, my boss. Your boss never tells you what to do. The SOPs tell you what to do. That should be your answer. And next question they will ask, well, if your SOPs tell you, let me see where your SOPs are. They should be easily available to you. Of course, now in the technical world, we have them all on the website. You have access and you can show them right on the spot. If I have a question, I go to this SOP and here is the answer. So continuous command and control. These are some of the things they look up front when they walk in, is how much in control are you of your operations? People say the data integrity regulations are new, and I say absolutely not. Look at, they have been sitting there in the regulations. When was 211? 1985, 1990. See, they're right in 211. These are the words. 211.100 has contemporaneous. Look at the clause. Okay, so 211.194 says complete test results. They have been sitting there. People have been ignoring it. And then after part 11, when they started to deal with electronic records, here you go. They said, who told you it is new? They have been ignoring it. The industry has been ignoring it. If you look at the early set of warning letters that were issued to all the companies in the world, which area you think they were issuing warning letters left and right? Raw data. Industry did not actually know what raw data was. They did not know its importance. So they started, they would go to an audit. Who keeps your raw data? Who looks at the raw data? Nobody. Okay, here it is. We are going, bye-bye, warning letter. We'll come back whenever. So that is where I think here, 211.180, there you go, raw data available. And the industry didn't know about it until they started writing people warning letters in 2011, 2012. So these are the predicate rules. Please know what they are. Why is data so important? The economists made this comment, and I just picked it up. The world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. Good old days, the Arabs thought they were sitting on, pools and lakes of oil under their house. Today, no, data is more important than oil. So that is why data has started to be. And why is it important to our, what happened here? Anyway, I can't see the title. Maybe, why is it important to, because if data is unreliable, executives can make suitable choices. When it is reliable, that's what they use to make suitable choices for overall business success. Folks, I've always told the world, the toughest business to manage, the executives in the pharmaceutical, the executives in the biopharmaceutical industry have a very, very tough business to manage. Why? Because they have to balance the business interest versus the interest of the patient. And you have to balance it. Unfortunately, in some companies, it's only the business interest, and that's where they falter. You have to balance both. And how do they do that? By looking at the data, their data, whatever data they are looking at, financial, risk, patient safety, distribution, I don't know. I mean, there can be so much of data. So you have to, that is why it is for the success of management, they have to stress. Success of their roles. If they are not, then there's a big problem. Okay, so why do DI issues occur? Top 5 misconceptions. You know, I was there, I go to seminars here where there are top-notch people that attend. They even come from India. And typically this is what you will hear. Oh no, we train our people, data integrity issues do not occur in our company. It's only limited to fraud and misrepresentation. Okay, so, and please, if there are data integrity issues in the company, what's the root cause? Humans? Absolutely not. The root cause is the design of your systems. So that's why when it comes to technical controls, or if you don't have technical controls, then you have procedural controls, please design. Humans are bound to make mistakes. Don't fire them. That is stupid. Train them. And if you have to train them again, that means that is something you are doing as a supervisor, as management, that is not working. Unless there are some humans who come there, have no interest in work. They don't have interest in their own life. Yes, there are people in the world, all across the world. Then you have to tell the person, okay, we will give you a function where you will come and sweep the floor every day. You don't have to handle data. But most of the times they're all willing to learn, and don't pressurize them, train them well, design your systems very well. Okay, so that's what it is. And data integrity issue is a recent concern. No, don't give an excuse, management. We don't accept these. These are all misconceptions. You can read it. So if you think DI issues do not occur, you know, there has been very lot of frustration because senior management, you know, those are the misconceptions. You go to the boardroom, that's how they are talking. Well, tell them, come on down with me for a flow, you know, walk across the flow. And with the senior manager, do these things. Spend time on the workflow. Examine trash bins. That's what the auditors do. Utilize independent experts. And I want to tell you something. I work a lot with former FDA inspectors here as well as in India. They are not data integrity experts. Otherwise, they wouldn't be taking me on their team. They are experts in very much, you know, they are biochemists, biotechnologists, nothing wrong with it. But when they try to move into the IT area of data integrity, that becomes a big problem. Okay, and wherever I have consulted here in the US, I have made sure that right up to the vice president, I say, you need IT department in this. Don't put them in a closet and keep it working and say, oh, those guys don't understand quality. Then it's your job to teach them, okay? Send them for quality seminars. If you don't involve IT, then your data integrity, and that's one of the things I do when I go. Show me whose signature, who in IT can you bring in front of me and I can interview? Nobody. Well, I don't need quality people here. I don't need to interview quality folks. They're all biochemists. The FDA, when they give a warning letter, they say you need to have people with these 3 words, background and experience. And when you go to the industry, their head of the data integrity program has no background in data, which is IT, no experience, which also is IT. So please do that. Please take this as a big box and tell your management. Understand the DI controls triad, you know that, no people controls, no design controls, no business process controls. Okay, and I want to tell you something right here, a slide is coming, where the manufacturing science determines how a product is manufactured or produced, whether it's a tablet, or an injectable. It's the manufacturing science. It's the science, of course, of the product. But in data integrity, what's your product? Data, not those tablets, not those. Those are, leave it to the manufacturing science people. Your product is data. And the quality of the data depends on your business process. Business process, business process, business process. Look at those. Look at your system design. Please don't think in terms of Alcoa. We used to talk about that in 2015. So look at your business process, look at all these controls, and that's where you start building your data integrity program. Why do people controls occur? Go to the companies that have been very successful. And as a background, I was very lucky to have worked for Genentech before it got acquired by Roche. Genentech is a very, very well-known biotechnology company. And top-notch scientists, we had a whole different culture there. We never fired people. That is what our CEO said. If you fire these people, unless of course, they steal or something, that's a whole different story. If you fire people after we interviewed them and brought them in and hired them, then you are not doing your job. Your job, Mr. Manager, is to make this person a success. And how? Here you go, company culture. Blame fear. No, we don't blame people. Oh, I didn't do it, he did it. Then you go to the high school, go back to school if that's how people talk. Please do not set production targets, which is unrealistic. Okay? Hey, you can't go home today, you have to make so many. No employee awareness, of course, training. And please explain to them why they do what they do. Just don't tell them, do it like this. If you explain to them, if they don't do it like that, what are the implications? Not that we'll get a warning letter. That's extreme. But explain to them, hey, because this data is now going to that department, then they start to look bad. They get wrong data, they act on the wrong data, and then they're people. Maybe that's the person you meet for lunch and sit on the same table. Do you want to play a fool like this department because they failed to handle the data the right way? No. And this is why you do what you do. Complicated process, overlapping SOPs. Two SOPs, one says one thing, the other says the other thing. No. And it happens, folks. I do a lot of audits here nowadays. I don't do projects anymore. No stakeholder involvement. What was I was involved in two of them, largest bio manufacturing facility in the world. Even today, FDA wants to come and look at it. No, it's all fully paperless. And I was from corporate engineering. What was our philosophy? Stakeholders, they need to be in the meeting. We need process scientists. We need even the factory floor, the person who will be looking at the graphs. They designed the graphs, not we engineers. No, we took ourselves out. You decide, oh, if it is an alarm, what color do you want? Your team decides. Get together, talk amongst yourselves. I need one answer. And stakeholder involvement. Same with SOPs. Please involve the people who will work with it. Take their input. Don't involve them just for political reasons. Oh, we involved you, that's okay. But don't take their advice, then it'll be a failure. So what are the solutions? And I've given the solutions. Close supervision. Please walk the floor. Please go and see. And to help the person, not to fire, you have to gain the confidence of your direct reports. Why are you there? Not trying to see what they are doing, whether they are sleeping on the job or reading a magazine. Of course, you will, but if you don't have that relationship, then you're done. No dadagiri. Now, the moment they sense my manager is a dadagiri, then they will do the hiding and all that. Get the confidence. And when you want to talk to an employee, unless it is something related, talk to them at their place of work, even if it needs for you to stand and talk to them. That makes them feel comfortable. Hey, come to my office. No, then this data integrity, the culture, blame free, admit mistake. Talk together now. Let's see what we can do next time that I don't commit that mistake. Team spirit. But if you committed a mistake, admit it right away. Don't start, finagling here and there. Mandatory SI ethics. Okay. Design controls. Design, I told you, it's the system, it's not humans. Humans do happen. I know people controls, but this is the same thing. Stakeholder involvement, DI design. You see the URS, there has to be a section on DI, right? URS and all that. So inadequate validation, aging systems. I have been in audits and I told, first of all, I looked at the URS and I said, where are your CPP CQAs? And they said, what's that? I told him, come with me. Where's your R&D department? He walked me. And this is the scientist who did the product? Yes. And the product is named after him. He's an Indian guy, Dr. Ramalingam, and they have. So I said, doctor, I want to know your product that your company is coming out with, the breast cancer. What is the CPP CQA? He just looked at my face. He said, sit down. I have to pull the binder out. The engineer who was with me from his company, he sat down. He pulled the binder out and he showed it to me here. They're all. So I looked at the engineer. I said, why didn't you include this in the URS? Well, he was just giving a blank stare. Very, very key. And then guess what? I took that list and then I looked at their alarm design. These were not alarmed. What do you think is happening? Data integrity problem. These are the critical process parameters and they were not in the alarm design list. So start to look at all that and you say, wow, these guys have tons of problems. You don't have time, you just write them off and come back for a re-audit and you get more and more problems. Why? Because they don't understand what data integrity, they fixed what was told to them. So design, people's control design. Okay, operational complexity is reduced. Well, click and go to another page and display the rest of the 3 or 5 or distribute, but no more than it's because why? It's complex, involves stakeholders. Uniform design policy. That's the other thing I look at. See, they don't involve IT. That's the problem. There's another system. There is another system. Code. I mean, they're not in the software. They're in the business of making drugs for patients, and they're writing internal code. Why? Oh, this one, we have to write a special driver. We have to do this. No. Focus on the drug business. Get standardized modules, but have a uniform policy. Now companies will only go for Windows, will only go for Unix. And how does that happen? Before you buy any equipment, IT has to sign off, and IT will interview those people. And if they say, okay, it fits into our overall design philosophy, we have taken, IT signs off, then you go and buy the equipment. They are, equipped. They know the complexity. Business process, again, same thing, poorly communicated and understood policies and standards. No compliance literacy. Inadequate internal audits. Internal audits are the ones that are supposed to catch things. And you don't hide things from internal auditors, please. You would be stupid to hide things from your own employees who are coming to audit you. Yeah, they are there to help you. Now, if your management fires you, that management is stupid. If your internal auditors have, noticed something in the department and they have written you up, that is what you want the internal auditors to do. And if your manager says, oh, why did they write us up? You're not doing your job. No. That's not a good manager. I would tell the CEO, get this manager out. That is what we need. And that business, that's a whole different culture. So they will help you how to correct it before the FDA comes and gives you a warning letter and shuts your whole company down. have DI programs performance metrics. We'll get in there later. Okay, so what is the 5P model? I'm just looking, I want to keep enough time. So what is the 5P model? Okay, so these are the parameters. Let's go into it. I explained this. The pharma product comes from manufacturing science. Data as a product comes from the business process. I explained this earlier. And a process-centric organization. I told you, data integrity is a business process, not a manufacturing process, And in a management that leverages the business process to meet its business goals is the one that will succeed. They have to understand the interactions, the capabilities of the people, partners, and leadership. And their goal should be to create an engaged workforce with problem-solving skills. Management does not solve this. Management just facilitates it. If you attend a meeting, as our CEO used to come in, he is now the chairman of Apple, handpicked by Steve Jobs. Why? Steve Jobs is considered one of the biggest innovators here. I live in Silicon Valley and he used to live here. Why? Because Dr. Levinson, who is now their chairman of Apple, he had this philosophy. He would quietly come and sit down in a meeting and not talk and make his notes. Occasionally, he would facilitate the meeting. He would explain a question the way he understood it, and then he would ask the questionnaire, humility, have I explained your question? Or, so management, get in, just keep quiet. Don't start dictating or taking, but just listen. Okay, so these are the elements. This is a business process-centric organization. Involve stakeholders, whether it's a design, involve engineers, involve operators who will be using the designed product. And that is a process-centric. Okay, company viewed as structured around processes or functions. Leadership committed to leverage process. I talked about it. Have well-defined ownership. Who is the business process owner? Who is the system owner? They need to be different. Have a continual improvement program. And very interesting. I was giving this training here in the US. I talked about continual improvement. Please read up ICHQ10. They talk a lot about it. And the person asked, yes, the continual improvement of the candle led to the invention of the electric bulb or the lamp. So there you go. So you start continually improving. Never say, oh, we are safe, everybody's following processes. You'll be left behind in your business. Competitors will take over. Clarity of business procedures and practices. Same thing. Explain to them why they do what they're required to do. Explain to them the implications, not the consequences, the implications of what will happen if they do not do things the way they're supposed to do. Otherwise, you're just beating around the bush. You will get warning letters over and over and over again because the employees don't know why they're doing what they're supposed to do. Strategy is deployed bottoms up, not top down. I just explained to them. Let the people on the floor, let the people at the supervisor level come up with ideas and then let it flow up to senior management for their approval. Focus on achieving customer goals, okay? Move them up a maturity continuum. I'm coming to the maturity model. And the purpose, why we exist, the processes, which are SOPs, people, roles and responsibilities, who is the BPO, who is the business process owner, who is the, what happens when you have an incident, how do you escalate it, what's the chain of, reporting, and performance, monitoring. The driver of the bus is constantly monitoring his performance. He knows where he has to go, and he's looking if the thing is going headed towards the goal or it's going off on the side of the road, falling off in a ditch. That performance is very important. How do you know you're doing what you're supposed to do? Lies, blames people. But look at him when he goes home, what he tells his children. Hey, don't lie, don't steal, work hard. This is your goal. I need you to get a PhD. So the internal drivers are different depending on different situation. Why is that happening? So you have to know. Now, these are the things. Similarly, companies define the principles in their ethics directive. Most of the time, even here, when I go, we have an ethics directive. When they show it to me, that's an ethics for what the purpose of the company is. You know, customer delight could be one of the purpose. Unmet medical needs, provide drugs safely so as not to jeopardize them. And so all these three together is what causes a people behavior. Of course, there's a little culture in there also. And purpose could also mean culture. Yeah, you have all that purpose, correct, but how are you making sure? Oh, we have a blame-free culture, we don't do this, we don't do that. Okay, that defines how the people in the company are behaving. You know, our purpose, once hired, and if you are willing to learn, and you know, you are making decisions along with your team, you're a team player, not playing the internal politics of putting one person down over the other, then your people are behaving the way they are, and data integrity issues, lying, cheating, and all will not occur. And performance, results, monitoring it. Internal audit is one way of, that's why I said, internal auditors are your friends. Don't hide it from them. Never, I won't say don't, never hide things from them. Ask them for help. You know somebody is cheating. You know your colleague is lying. You know something happened. Please tell them. Okay, so these are the 5 Ps. I can get and talk for half an hour if needed, but we have to move on. Establishing a DI program. Okay, so your management, senior management, I'll call them executive management, CEO and the CEO's direct reports, they have decided, you know, we really need to establish a very good DI program. Most of your companies, the big companies in India, you know, like Dr. Reddy's is very big. You know, they have establishments in Mexico, some multi-cultures, okay? Cultures is another thing. I'm talking about even culture of the society, not culture just in the company. So you have to have a DI program that will go across the enterprise. It becomes very challenging, right? So what do you do? So the 3 focus areas: organization control, procedural controls, technical controls. This is a good place to start. And these are the 2 areas you should look at: data governance and data management. Management is the day-to-day. Data governance is the overall. How do we govern the data, right? It's like the government. In the, you know, the president and the prime minister, that's their governance, and data management is the day-to-day. The chief minister, even the police, is the data management type of an organization. They manage what the governance says we need to do. So these are the SOPs. You could add to them. What I did was I took those 2, the earlier slide, 211.68 to 10, and I've come up with a list of all the SOPs, relevant SOPs to those that you need to have in place. Like 211.188, continuous, date and time, SOP, GDP, good document practice. And these are the things I just got off a long 1.5-year project and established all this for them. It started with my audit, and then they said, now come and help us develop these. So I went and developed data backup and recovery, business continuity, out of spec investigation, SOPs. And so these are the processes in data integrity. So these may have to be developed. That will be part of your program. And data governance, set of processes, and how is data governed in your company? Okay, that is data governance. I'm just looking at the time. Okay, I'm about 4 slides, but that's okay. Specifically, that's what data governance is. Decision rights and accountabilities. Who is accountable for this? How is it escalation? You need to have an escalation procedure in place, clearly defined. And when in doubt, even the doubt, it is not for you to decide, oh, this is a data integrity issue. Even if you doubt it's a data integrity, you need to, typically what companies do, take it to your supervisor. Okay, and from there on, it goes all the way up. And what action to take? You need to have that model in place. Multiple goals, compliant, improve visibility of data to C-level management, right? Your executive level management. And that is the goal of data governance, improving operations and assist efforts to fix data quality at the department level, not at the individual level, no, at the department level. Have that governance, which ultimately goes to your department manager. Then from there, it gets escalated to the senior director or to the VP, and then the corresponding VP in manufacturing, and that way. Okay, so DI program's goal is to establish a data governance strategy. I showed you the SOPs ahead. I showed you you have to have a data governance strategy. And this is the 6-step process. And I will explain in detail each of these steps. Assemble and train a core team. I use the word core. This is a large project. It could span several quarters. It could span even several years, 1 or 2 years. But you need to have a core team in place that will be with the project. At least at that time, you know, these are the 3 or 4 members will be with the project for more than a year at least, and they won't be rolling in and out. Then you have a little bit of a problem. Assess DI status of data assets, the Gemba walks. What do you have? Take the team along, walk the floor. Don't do projects sitting in a room. Get out there and just walk the floor. Okay, and serious, I'm not talking about personal stuff and you know how you can do that during your lunch breaks or whatever. Develop an approved plan. Okay, the first 2 steps will get you to a plan, hopefully, and then you get the approval of your senior manager. At that time, maybe more funding, because now in the first 2 steps, you have an idea of what needs to be done to reach an end state and how much will it cost. And then you prioritize and implement, monitor maturity, and revise as necessary. But the important thing is assemble and train core team. Very important. Project sponsor. If you do not have a project sponsor, this is bound to fail. Who is the project sponsor? Somebody with executive authority that can allocate funds, budgets, and also typically it should be the CEO's direct report, because that person will take the status of the program real-time live. Hopefully the CEO meets with his or her direct reports once a week with a standing item of the data integrity project. So that executive, that project sponsor would be a person at that high level, and yeah, time and budget slip. So if you don't have that, and if I'm told you are the project manager, I'll refuse. Give me some other work. So include IT and business members. I've been telling that all through. Develop and obtain approval of team's plan. The core team's plan. What is their objective? Train all core team members on data integrity. Make sure they understand. They're not experts, no, but they have some good knowledge and understanding of data integrity. And include external DI SMEs, subject matter experts, and team advisor. We did that in Genentech. The high level, high degree of automation, and they were all paperless. There was a great deal of nervousness. And that, you know, I was in the meeting in the room at that time. I was one of the core team. And when Dr. Levinson walked in and he said, where is your subject matter? This is something we all are doing for the first time, right? Yes, sir. Okay, where is your subject matter expert on this team? Oh, we don't have anybody. Well, I didn't say that. That was not my question. I didn't say if we had somebody in the company as a subject matter. I said, where is your subject matter expert? Somebody who has taken the path before or a similar path and knows of all the pitfalls and can pre-warn us. Don't do it like this. This will happen. Do it like this. That's the core team. That guarantees success. When the advisor, when the auditors came to our plant, they just walked away. They said, can we take all this 100 boxes of printouts? Because we told them up front, this was our philosophy. Okay, step 2, assess DI status. Okay, everything. Discover what do you have, review past IA reports and DI incidents, internal audit reports. Do all that. Do your Gemba walk, assess current state and data of equipment. Gemba walk, well, this is 20 years old. Okay, so you know what was there then, technically. So you get a good thing. Oh, this needs to be swapped out. You can't keep using the old one, and it'll cost so much. And these are the possible vendors we can go to. That is now what is happening for assessment. You get a good knowledge, then you develop overall principles, roadmap, deliverables. How will you go from one phase of the project to the next? What are the indicators? Okay, if these deliverables are in place, it means we can move from phase 1 of the project, not the step, I'm showing you the steps, from phase 1 of the project to phase 2. And phase 2's goal will be like this. And when all these deliverables are in place, then we move to phase 3. Come up with a plan and, you know, expected budget. Deliver the okay. You know, we overshot, but not too much. 5%, I used to do 5%. Prioritize and implement. That is, I don't have to tell you. Now, monitor maturity and audit. So data integrity maturity model with scoring criteria, internal audit, and private drills. Backup recovery and business continuity, backup and recovery, have those drills. That's monitoring. Okay, you know, tell the IT, come on, let's do a drill that, you know, we lost the hard drive or something like that. Let's see how we go over it. Follow the SOP. Things may have changed. And revise as necessary. Review data integrity, warning letter, not just of your company, of other companies. Where are they getting there? Then you can check yours. Oh, okay, we are all set here. Well, I don't think we'll get written up. And here, at least in the US, companies don't hide things from each other, except their formulas and all that. Everything else is open. I know I used to, when I started going to India 2008, nobody would talk anything. And then in 2010, 2011, they were asking me question, why does FDA print our names? I said, that is freedom of information. In the US, they want to know. And then, so I think now I'm seeing in India, it's reducing. It's all out there in the open. Please cooperate amongst yourselves. I am an ISPE and PDA member. Unfortunately, the ISP in India is not all the way there. They're just competing amongst themselves. Here, it's a very free and open. Oh, you got that? Okay, tell us something more. Okay, here it is. You know, data integrity, there is no intellectual property here. It's the product, the science, you know, how you make that drug. Data integrity, no, see, we got things like, oh, okay, let's go back and let us look at ours. And the FDA likes it. When they hear it, they say, wow, you are your own police, good. Please do that. They get impressed. So please, and as a consultant, I don't tell names, but I tell them, I saw that in another company, and they are good enough. They don't ask me which company. Same in India. They don't ask me which company. They say, oh, what else did what did you find? And that is what a consultant does, is brings the knowledge and does the cross-pollination. So please do that, revise as necessary. Okay, so this, in essence, I explained this for about half an hour again in my regular media trainings, which one of it is soon coming up at IVT, I mean, whatever that is, Informa, right. This will be explained. Now look at this. There is the initial phase, repeatable. That's how a company, you can And when I go for my audits, I give them this rating. Oh, you're in the managed state. Why? Good. You have an RCA in place. You have a risk management SOP in place. You practice risk management. You have design and operational controls. You have a CAPA SOP and you practice your CAPA processes. That's what I reviewed. And you perform regular audit trail reviews. And when something is, you find something unusual, you know the escalation process because I interviewed your system administration who is doing the audit trail review. I say, okay, you are in a managed state. The fifth phase is optimizing. Your company is a hero in that area. And they not only know what they are doing, but they also know continual improvement. They're using data analytics. They are, innovative techniques, DI metrics monitoring. So that's, and then of course, look at the initial ad hoc management, processes not defined, individual effort. Somebody, they put the IT in the corner, hey, figure out what's wrong and don't tell me what you found out. Fix it, come and tell me, okay, you can go back to the flow and start working. No. Sit down with IT. They have found out something. Ask what they found out. Oh, what do we have to do now so that it doesn't happen? Ask IT. They will tell you what to do. Don't throw them under a closet and say, that's the initial state. Rough shape. You write them up left and right. Then when the process becomes disciplined, as you can see in the arrow right here, you can give it stage 2. Okay, they know what they are doing. They know why they made a mistake. Just like people of you, if you're programmers here. Oh, I know what happened. I can repeat the mistake. I know why the mistake happened because I can repeat it. I know the cause. Mistake is the effect. I know the cause. I can repeat it. Repeatable. There are roles and responsibilities defined. So you have to come up with this criteria. This is the data integrity maturity model. And right next to it, they're all there. Okay, what I did, I don't know if this was a lab, a lot of people there where I presented last week. It was a lab congress, laboratory only people. There are not many people from manufacturing. So they told me come up with, and I will show you in the next set of slides for the next 12 or 13 slides. And I think I have time. Yeah. I will show you the data integrity risk assessment is not, I repeat, is not the same as the risk management that we are used to on the manufacturing flow, where we talk about risk priority number, where we talk about severity, where we talk about of occurrence. It is not that. Data integrity risk assessment is totally different. We did this way back in 1997. 3-4 years ago, I was in Ireland giving a training, and the senior director of IT was attending, and he looked at me when I started showing this. He said, you know what? We should have brought you in 2 weeks earlier. I said, why? He said, the FDA, US FDA inspector who came in, she had me take my pen and a notebook, and she kept questioning me. And in the end, the diagram you is what we came up with. I said, that is what she was trying to, the life cycle of data in your lab is what she was trying to tell you. And I'm going to show you for the next slide. How do you do data integrity risk assessment using the data integrity life cycle in your business process? Let's go. So these are what the regulators look at. Trained personnel, calculations and instruments validated. Is it recorded at the time of performance? All deviations, okay? Instruments are regularly calibrated. All records are original, and a second person review for accuracy, complete. Okay, this one, I'm going to spend a little bit of a time here because this is what happened to me when I went for an audit of an Indian company, and I pulled in the manager of the lab who would sign off on the lab test results. And incidentally, the CEO decided to come. This was for an audit and sit next to me. And he said, I would just listen. I said, okay. And all of you know this company, so I'm not going to name it. And I asked the lab manager, is this your signature? He said, yes. And I said, do you know why you were signing this? Oh, I signed it, that he did the job well and he looked at and all these. I said, what did you look at before you put your signature? What does your signature mean? And he spoke me through it. He said a good number of things that he spoke through. And one of the things I asked is, do you know what did you check this data against? And what I was looking for was, he would say, I looked at the raw data, but he didn't. In fact, I had to explain to him what's raw data. Just 3 years ago. And his answer to me, I'll tell you something. I go to India quite often, and what I found is people think they can take some liberties with me because I'm an Indian, I know the background, I know the culture. No. When we go, irrespective of what nationality, you have to put yourself in the auditor's shoes and you have to go and audit them. And that's what the CEO wanted. No bhai-bandi here, No Indian look the other way. No, you have to just look at it. So he looked at me. I don't think he was giving me kind of an official answer that he would tell the FDA what he was telling me. He was just taking liberties. And what he told me is that I have been working here for 24 years. All the people, most of the people in the company, and I train people here. All these people are my trainees. They came from college. So, why do you have to go and look for raw data? They know I'll whip them, I'll fire them. They are honest people. They are motivated. They come to work. They have a family they have to support. I'm not referring that you should look for this raw data because they are lying or cheating. They could be making mistakes. How do you know that? Well, they tell me. I said, well, they can tell you I have not made any mistake. They can tell you I have made a mistake. So the only way is trust them, but verify. Trust, but verify. Look at the raw data and verify. And work with them. So it's the whole culture, it's the whole approach of an individual here that is in question. So that is what it is. Second person review for accuracy, for completeness. That's what you should look for, raw data. Okay, these are the lab controls. It has been written up, 211.160. Okay, and in one of the SOPs up there in that list, I talked about lab controls. And this is what you have to write on the lab control side. Reference standard management, instrument management, individual SOPs. Okay, a general SOP called lab control. And then you jump into individual SOPs, methods transfer SOP, sample management SOP, methods validation. When you move a method from one machine to the other, you have to revalidate on that machine. So all these things together form what's called lab controls. The lab control SOP as such is just about 2 or 3 pages, which mentions this just like this. You can put this diagram there. But these all together get to lab controls. Regulations for laboratory DI, 211.68, I talked about 160 right here. Lab controls mechanisms shall be documented at the time of performance and all that stuff. So, okay. So 180, 194, you can read all this out. And the lab related, how many of you are in the lab today? I'm not sure, but I'll still quickly go through it. And 211.68 is equipment related to the labs. I mean, equipment in the labs, shared identities, inappropriate access, no backup procedure. These are the areas they've given. They're warning letters in. Okay, 211.180 to 194 in that list above. They're all related to lab records. Okay, analysts who are doing this. Maintenance people who are calibrating, they're all in the lab records, lab controls, okay, unofficial testing, reprocessing, stability testing, all the guidances, SOPs fall under lab control. Okay, now I'm getting into the proper risk assessment. Yeah, I'm a little over time. It has now, this came out from the colleges, you know, the review from the academia, that we do all operations on data are restricted to these 8. You can put them in one of these 8 categories. You either enter data, you are storing the data, or you're acquiring the data like we do in the field through instruments. You're editing the data, you're processing, copying, deleting, and you're moving the data, right? Copying results in moving also. You copy it to a disk and then you move the data and bring it to rest somewhere else. So all these, this is a list you should have, okay? And the risks along with it. And what are the mitigations? Data copying, data delete, and data editing. So most of you IT folks, you probably would agree, I'm hoping, and you're not thinking of anything extra that falls out of this. If you are, again, as I said, we all need to form a club, and not a WhatsApp group, but a little bit better. So, and share amongst yourself, hey, I got the 9th operation here. You know, we attended that, he just showed us 8. But let's start with this. So, useful approach is to map the workflow, and for each step of workflow, identify the following: what actions, how those actions are performed, how they are recorded, what decisions made, and the extent to which. So let's move. The first one, what actions are performed? Here you go. Sample prep, instrument prep, analyze, sample capture, calculate results, review reports. Okay, now next one, after you do this, okay, these. So sample prep, what do? Okay, we collect sample. Now, please don't do it all by yourself sitting in the corner. Pull your team in. Each one, throw in what the suggestions are, and then eliminate by saying, oh, this means that, so we'll strike that out. So this is what you do. Collect sample, then you prep your instruments, record and report results after the preparation, analyze sample, and capture results. This is where you're actually doing the testing. Then if there are some results to be calculated, including manual integration, make sure you have an SOP on that and a guidance on that. This is a big data integrity violation if you're doing manual integration without a SOP. The best manual I found, manual integration, it is on the website, is of the Environmental Protection Agency of the US government, EPA site, complete with diagrams and everything and how they integrate manually. If they see a curve like this, there are 21 to 22 cases. See if you can get a handle on that, okay? Next, here it is. Page up, collect sample, right? I'm taking the very first one, okay? Collect sample, okay? Let's see, record. That's what you do. There you go. That's the verb. You're recording one of those 8 operations. You record analyst name, date, and time. You verify raw data, prep sample as per SOP, save prep data, ensure data unerasable. So you see there are some verbs. I call those 8 operations as verbs, right? In grammar, verbs are the actions. So you can see right in sample prep, you can see record, you can see save, you can see, so everywhere, now these are the data integrity operations you are performing. Data integrity associated, related operations you are performing. Put that in, okay? That's why I told you when they came to audit us in 1998, they just ran away after 2 days. Then they brought in a team of 5. And then after all those 5, one of them is still in the data integrity. He was a consultant. And when they saw all this, they said, okay, we don't, we are not going to sit here and give you one, because we knew what they were thinking. You have to beat them at their own game. And then they are now taking it out and they're looking at, and that's why the gentleman said, we should have brought you in 2 days earlier, 2 weeks, because of these things. Yeah, these are the things we do. Then you associate the verbs, operations. I call them the operations or the verbs. Oh, here you do data storage, data processing. Map it. Here, raw data saved and unerasable. So save means it's a storage. Okay, so data storage there. So now you see right here, data acquisition, data entry, data store. You do data store in several places. You do it in analyze, data storage. I should have used the word storage. Consistent, use. So here you have now boiled it down to data integrity related operations, not process, not RPN, not severity, not probability of occurrence. That's different. That's a process. This is the IT level, data level. Now what do you do? Okay, when you have that, you know, this is the same slide I showed you earlier. What is the mitigation? What is the risk? Data acquisition, inaccurate measurement. Oh, do we have an SOP? Do we have the guidance? How often do we go and calibrate? See, accuracy, ALCOA. There you go. How often do we go and calibrate this? Where is the SOP that said this instrument should be calibrated once every 3 months, whereas this one is okay to have once every year? And the rationale in the SOP. So all that, because at this step, we'll be looking at that SOP. So back to this, you know what is going on here. Oh, no, I have to go up. Sorry, guys. I hit the wrong key. So the next slide was going to be from current slide. Okay, so page up here, you know what the mitigation is, what the risks are. And from here, you know what you are doing, all the operations. So you can say, oh, now we see what's going on here. So these are the 3 risks. So here I go, sample prep, acquire, entry, storage. Risk, oh yeah, we have no risk for storage, but we have a risk, provide second level of operation. I'm going to collapse this a little so I can read. Instrument prep, here you go. This is what I have to do. This is the risk. Yes, there is a risk here. And let me go and verify this is in place, because this is what we said would be the mitigation. We are good here. We've taken care of the risk in the instrument prep. We have an SOP and audit trails are turned on. Yes, we have a sign right near the instrument, analyst in red, because this machine is, you can turn it on and off. But modern machines, you don't even need to do this. Specify to ensure audit trails are turned on, because that's one of the warning letter. Hey, it was turned off and they were performing an analysis. So you see how I've boiled it down. Okay, I've boiled it down to risks. So improved efficiency, that's the case for your management. Efficient, hey, you're squeezing out more water from a wet cloth. If you don't, you're throwing money away down the drain. You don't realize it. We got profits here to make. Let's go through this risk assessment process. I've seen management say, hey, we don't have time for all that, just start manufacturing, okay? Increase productivity, improve data quality, immediate access to data, and tighter cost controls. Okay. In summary, now this was for the lab people. Instruments must be qualified, software must be validated, all calculations, methods used must be, I'm just racing through this, okay? I'm not going bullet by bullet, you can read it. And these are the general things that, I sometimes take these as my notes when I go for audits. Enter the lab and bam, you see, what's this date on this machine? Why is the date here? What is it doing? Simple things. Why is the pencil here? Well, eraser, pencil, what's going on in the lab? Why is the wall on the clock? What do you use that wall for? People lie. Oh, it's just, when we have to go home. You ask another operator, the person who actually carries all those assays into the next lab, he'll say, no, we note the time here. Oh, okay. And you see the times are all off. So in summary, and that's the end. So I'll open it up for questions. We have about 15 minutes. Please feel free to ask questions you have. I'll try to answer. So let me see if I can get to the participant screen. And how do I get to Q&As? Questions?
Yeah,
okay.
You see that?
I see the Q&A.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I can see.
Perfect.
So, anonymous attendee, data of an instrument lost due to mechanical problem or file corruption, whether this will lead to a warning letter, certainly. It will it's a definite warning letter, because that's what you do, is backup and recovery. You have to have a recovery scheme, whether it's incremental backup, whether it is, but the data has to be available to you for all times, for the length of time that your data retention policy is. Okay, so please so the question is for everybody, data of a instrument lost due to mechanical problem, head crash or something, of the drive, or file corruption, whether this will lead to a warning letter. Answer is yes. SOP, backup and recovery. If you don't have, that is another warning letter on that. They don't even have that SOP, let alone, and you don't do drills. You have to, once every 6 months, get everybody trained. So that's the question. Okay, now, I don't know, something else came in. Okay, Hema Sharma, how to control disaster recovery? Control, you can't control a disaster, but when there is a disaster, you have to have your disaster, DR, I call it for short, disaster recovery SOP. You have to run it to see that it actually works, in the sense, the way it has been written down, that you can recover data, and that's how you do. That's why nowadays in the cloud world, all those are left to the cloud service provider, where they store data simultaneously in 3 different physical locations. We don't, as a user, need to know where. Of course, we do need to know, because it's our data. You don't want them to store it in Saudi Arabia, and but still, but you have to have the backup and recovery SOP also. Okay, Vijay Satkar, very well explained 5P model, and training material is nicely articulated. Thanks for your time and effort. One sec, I am, for your time and efforts. What you suggest for organization with lots of manual processes and documentation, risk and solution? The best thing is, if you're still running all this manually, there is no regulation that tells you have to automate. Please be sure about it. There is no regulation. But the auditors have a roundabout way to pressurize you to get automated. They can load you up with tons of warning letter because of errors, because of manipulation, and your management needs to be educated on this. Show them from the number of warning letters, that is public knowledge, and tell them, you see all these manual things, see how much they are getting. Every time an auditor comes, they get written up, because they're all manual. People make mistakes. They're not thieves, they're not robbers, cheats. No, people make mistakes. Automated is automated. Okay, so that's my answer to Vijay, because it's you have to educate them. And okay, I think it's coming from the top and bottom, because the next one, I don't know where it vanished. So I'll start from the top.
So I'll tell you what, Chinmoy, when you take the question, if you want to answer it live, do you see the button that you can click on that says answer live?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so once you have answered it, just click on answer live and done, and then it will be gone. So I was doing it while you answered, so that's why the questions disappeared.
Questions, okay. How can we select the team? How? I mean, your management appoints or selects the project manager and the project sponsor. That's how it goes. Typically, if the project sponsor is from the board, then the CEO will tell, okay, you, Mr. Vice President or something, you take this project up under your wings. Then the VP will go around looking for a project manager, and then things take off from there. One of the things that, I would say, if it's a good project manager, the next level, they would be a quality senior level and an IT senior level. Okay, and that way it starts building up. Okay. Done. Okay, there you go. Okay, thank you. Hema, how can we develop an environment of quality so that there will be no fear? But that's all your management. How can we develop an environment of quality so that there will be no fear, but a responsibility could be developed? Yes, that's your management culture. It has to flow from the top. It has to go from top, meaning it could even be the floor level supervisor. It could even be the supervisor's boss. But that culture, one individual employee cannot, start with that culture. That's how you develop the whole thing. So that's how it goes. And it is an investment. It doesn't overnight. Okay, that's the quality. Services. Based on your observation during various audits, why does data integrity become even in good organizations? Well, that is what the crux of it is. The culture, the senior management's recognition that it's very important, and we need to do this, this, this. It's not just enough to recognize the importance, but also how do you solve it? Many of the times they just delegate it off, and then it gets down to quality. They said, hey, kick the IT people out. They don't know anything. They just blabber in front of auditors who don't even want them to. And this happens. So I did 1.5 years, and finally I had succeeded after I spoke to the VP and actually the CEO also. And then the whole data integrity was turned over to IT. Not to quality, not to quality control, not to this, IT. So it has to, the senior management has to recognize. And they are very good people. They are there for a reason. They can question very effectively. And once they get convinced, then you start to see things flow down. And please don't call former FDA auditors. They know very little. I go with them. I mean, I was with them once, and Peter Baker called. He was in the FDA then. So you really have to get experts. There are other experts. They are civilians. They have never worked at FDA, but they work in different companies. Let them in. They will tell you. Okay. How can we monitor cognitive behavior? Well, I don't know. I'm not a cognitive behavior expert. And you can do several tests. You can do so many things. But if a person has cognitive problems, then they have to be given another job. That's all that I would say. If I understand the meaning of cognitive, but I'm not a cognitive behavior expert. Okay. Okay. Can you please explain some of the dipstick indicators of data integrity status of an organization? Communication. Communication, communication, communication. If they are not communicating, they are hiding. You can get the feel as soon as you walk in and you ask questions and they are not ready answers. If they are not automated, I've been to audits where they come live with their laptops and they get right in front of us, look at all the data, and they show it to us and say, here is the answer. Okay, now you know. These people have data at their fingertips. Otherwise, you start answering. If they don't know where the data is, how do they decide what their action should be? So there are many ways. Arguing in front of us. They're not communicating. You tell somebody to get something, they go and get something else to you. Why? Because they didn't care to ask, verify. They say, oh, I'll get it for you. Wait, verify. Let me get, what I would say. Sir, ma'am, let me get an understanding of what you want. Is this what you want or is this what you want? Ah, okay. Now you see, many a times they ask you questions to verify. They're looking at how you approach the problem, not what the solution is. Okay, that's what they are trying to see. How you approach a problem, how is your behavior? Do you rush to judgment or do you look at data? Do you seek clarification? That's what some of the indications are. Okay. Sharing a group password is not CSV compliant, is a yeah, group passwords, please. It's not accepted anymore anywhere. Get a new system, don't even try procedural controls. Group password is very bad because I could be stealing, and in a group of 6, the other 5 are honest people. It is not fair to those honest people. Stealing, I mean changing data willy-nilly, left and right. And it only shows, oh, it is, did it. 6 people, who Vaishnav? It may be me. I'm the one culprit. Is it fair to those 5 people? No. They're honest people. They're doing it right. So please, I mean, no more of this. Go and get, let me tell you what the FDA commissioner told the Sun Micro and the Ranbaxy. I was there in India watching it live. And she said, if you don't have the money, get out of this business. The lives of our patients are too precious than the profits that you're looking for. So this was told live. Okay, I was there at that time in India watching Ranbaxy was being purchased by Sun. And unfortunately, the Sun CEO asked her to do something. He said, why do you want that? Puan Hota plant was shut. And he said, we need some money so that we can fix data integrity problems in, say, plant 4 or 5. And that's the time she immediately said, if you don't have the money, get out of this business. So that's what I would say. And you can tell your supervisors when you go back, yes, this is what we were told. Okay, this is done. Where risk assessment should be applied and how. Also, do we need mitigation? Also, yes, you need. If there is a risk. Now, first of all, you can't eliminate every risk, okay? As low as possible, ALARP, right? So you have to address the risk. You cannot totally eliminate the risk. You can reduce it as far as possible. But if you identify a risk and just say, okay, now there are some risks that senior management, that's called risk tolerance. I'm getting into ICHQ 9 now. There have been instances where there is risk tolerance, where somebody like a CEO or the VP of quality is aware and signs off. They make an assessment, what risk will it be? And they say, okay, we'll tolerate this risk until such time. Then we're going to switch, or in the meantime, we're making procedures to completely kind of eliminate the risk. So that's what it is. If you identify something, don't just walk over it. How much time of data loss acceptable after recovery and how you can justify? Okay, the question you're asking me is business continuity. That's a separate SOP. How do you continue your business? Or recover the data? How do you say? Because many companies run things in manual, and then when the data to live automatic from the system, dependent on the system data, they do a check, they do a synchronization before or after, and they switch it. All that needs to be defined in the business continuity. Okay, I think I went there first. Now, do we keep rough notes taken during GMP audit, or we destroy them after finalizing the report? What is your view? Well, I hope you're taking notes for this presentation of mine too. You take notes everywhere. Now, whether you keep them or destroy them, it depends. Talk to your colleagues. Sometimes it may be useful to read those notes before the second audit, or you're going to face another auditor. I don't know. That's up to you how much, there is no regulation for that. That's I can tell you. I've not read any regulation as to the notes you take during the audit. The notes. Yes, during a meeting of the team, your company might decide, that we need to keep these notes in record. That's a whole different issue. But if personal notes you make, I don't think I have not seen any regulation. Which are DI tools which you suggest as must for building successful? In your observation, are there any automated tools, maturity level assessments? I don't know about any tools or anything. I mean, I don't even know what DIRA means. I know what's a JIRA. And yeah, there are many tools that you keep track. Change management, that's a tool too. So successful DI program, I told you the DI program is successful if you do all the things that I presented here. Have followed those 6 steps, have involvement of stakeholders, continuous monitoring. Those are the fundamental programs. Now, if you want to make your work a little bit more easier and start automatic, the more towards automation you go, the better it is. Wonderful. Be my guest and do it and empower yourself. Okay, sharing of a group parcel where machine, okay, I thought I answered it. Our software Empower is different, user IDs as per. Can we make a common ID for? No, don't do that. I know Empower, that is going backward, and that will really raise eyebrows if you do that, because then the FDA will dig deeper and deeper and deeper. Why did you do it? Now, they will also look at a thing where you buy a system with individualized access and you don't use that feature and you're having common passwords. Even more dangerous than saying we don't have the money. I mean, not saying that you tell them we don't have the money, but here is a plan to switch this system in 1 year. They might tolerate that. But if you say we bought this machine, but we are not using that's a sure sign you're doing some hera-pheri, some data integrity problem. How many days of CC? I don't know. I don't know. CCTV, typically, it is considered as data. So I would tend to say they need to be retained for as long as you retain your company data. That's video data. So that falls under the data retention policy. So, but the CCTV data, they are authorized because it is in their area. It's not your plant, it is their plant, okay? Please understand. So any data from their plant being removed or destroyed is open to DI. So you have to see, how many days. You have to look at your data retention. I don't know. If your data retention is 7 years, you put it in for 7 years. If it's 12, my company had 50 years, 50. That's how much a generation is. Because then the people, the drugs they made, those people are dead. So that was the philosophy of 50 years and not 7 or 10. The last one, can you put a internal DISME in so how they evaluate kernel? Well, it's your assessment. I can't tell you what you do. There is a lot of prejudice. I mean, all I have to tell every Indian, just in India, the Western one is better. Sorry. You will be surprised. The one who has practiced in India knows. I was educated in India. Our education system there in India is far, far better. Higher logic, think, and decision, much better. So that's all I have to say in answer to that. That's the only way you can, do a DISME. Okay.
Chinmoy,
So what do we do?
thanks a lot.
Last one.
Yeah, thanks a lot you are spot on time as always. You're not late, if that's what you're thinking. And really appreciate the fantastic presentation you did a little while ago. And You picked up all the questions, you know, and then that makes it a very big round of applause. And I would also invite our panel members, Banu Rafiq. Banu is our Conval colleague in operating from our headquarters in Istanbul. Banu is also ISP GAMP chair of Turkey. And, you know, there are colleagues who have joined from various parts of the world, from, you know, US, then you have colleagues from London, from Europe, and you have colleagues from Greece, and also, you know, definitely colleagues from India. And I'm really, really happy to see a very huge diaspora of colleagues joining. And also, if you see in our panel, we have Yanis Menopoulos, who is the Managing Director of Polytech Engineering, many years of experience, and you know, earlier with SGS, globally heading their validation manager and all that. And thank you again for a fantastic presentation, and a big round of applause. So Yanis, Banu, over to you.
Thank you very much, Arjun and Chinmoy. This was a very fruitful and great presentation that I have listened, because probably we listen a lot of DI seminars, webinars. So this is one of the best. Thank you very much for the experience that you shared, all the details. So thank you, and hope to see you again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well,
hello from my side.
Yeah.
hello.
It's me, Ioannis. I would like just to thank you, all of you. You are not just offered us an impeccable session, also my mentors. Since I have some experience from integrity, is the only thing executive, and it's more important than oil. I agree with the first sentence.
Thank you.
Hello.